Rich Farmer here at KRC Realty and Property Management. Today I want to talk to you about some more COVID issues that we're dealing with here in the industry. This one has to do with agents' visual inspections. So let's get right to it. Agents representing buyers and sellers are required by law to conduct a reasonably competent and diligent visual inspection of a residential property 1 to 4 units. We're required to by law. There's nothing we can do about that. This typically is not waivable. However, it is unlikely that an agent would face consequences for failing to conduct an in-person inspection if legally prohibited from doing so. What's going to cause them to be legally prohibited? Well, we got the new PED form, right? Again, I'll be going over forms later, but the new PED form basically sets expectations and limits that the seller wants on their property, and they could say, I don't want anyone in my house. Well, if they don't want you in your house, legally you can't go in, even though you're required to do the visual inspection, you just can't get in. So I don't think anyone would be held liable for doing that. This does not include situations, by the way, where the agent refuses to do the inspection. So if you're like, yeah, I don't want to go in the property, you're still required to go. So you need to put on the gloves and the mask, and you need to do the protections. If you want, you can ask the tenant or the owner of the property, well, tenant as well, because we have to do move-out inspections legally within the last 2 weeks if the tenant requests them. Property manager, agent representing a property management company can ask that person to leave. An agent cannot refuse. The only reason agent can't be held to doing the inspection is if the seller says, I don't want anyone in the house. Now, what happens if you're unable to conduct a visual inspection? If you're unable to conduct a visual inspection, there's a couple ways you can do it. Prior recollection. So I'm sure that when you met the owner for the first time, you might have come over to the property and taken a look around. Agents typically do that. They'll walk through the property, see what repairs need to be done. Hey, I recommend doing this, this, and this, so you can do that. I don't recommend that method. What I'd probably do is I'd go back to a virtual tour if you had one made. I would go back to pictures. You could have the owner walk around the property if repairs were supposed to be made. You could have the owner walk around the property with a camera, and you can do your visual inspection that way. I would have the buyer, actually, definitely, I would have the buyer sign an acknowledgement that the agent has not conducted an in-person visual inspection, and that the inspection is based on pictures, recollection, etc. You can still use the form AVID, so you want to use the AVID form, but you definitely want to make note on there that it was not in person, that the owner has forbidden anyone coming back into the property. And that could happen. I mean, the owner at the point, once they get it in contract, the owner might be amicable to getting people through the homes if they're providing a full written offer. They come in, they look at the house, they write up the contract, you're in escrow, you're ready to go. And at that point, the owner says, I don't want anyone else in the house anymore. The owners at this point can change the rules to whatever they want. There's nothing they can do that we can argue with this coronavirus. So just be sure that you're handling the inspections the right way. Be sure you're document, get everything in writing. And again, you need to have conversations if you're a buyer's agent. You need to have conversations with them. So you need to set those expectations. And of course, on the listing side, you need to set those expectations with the seller as well. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, give us a call. We're here all the time. Rich Farmer, KRC Realty and Property Management. Have a great day.